Hi everyone, welcome to Enjoy English. I'm Steven.
大家好，我是 Bernice.
Today's date is November 26th, and we're looking at pages 48 to 51, day 2 of science.
我们要来探索科学了。
From math to machines.
对
Alan Turing's story.
我们今天是进入到他的第2天的这一个课程了哈。那我们知道我们在第1天呢，就是学到这位电脑科学之父艾伦·图灵的一些故事，就是讲说，他对后人呢创造出这个所谓电脑的这个概念啦，还有他的一些伟大的成就。
How Turing paved the way for modern technology.
我们要学习是图灵如何为现代的科技来铺路咯。
Yes, and I think it's interesting because pave the way or pave a road, it can be used to talk about an actual road, right? But a lot of times we say pave the way or create conditions to make something easier. So in this situation, Alan Turing, he paved the way to make modern technology easier. All right, let's learn more about Alan Turing.
Okay.
From math to machines, Alan Turing's story. Part of Alan Turing's legacy is a test he proposed to examine computer intelligence. In 1950, Turing published a paper exploring the question, "Can machines think?" To find answers, he introduced an experiment now known as the Turing test. It is a way to check if a computer can respond like a human during a conversation. The test includes 3 participants, a human judge, another person, and a computer. The judge asks the other person and the computer questions and reads their answers without knowing who gave them. If the judge can't tell the computer's response from the other person's, the machine is considered intelligent. Over the years, several machines have taken the Turing test. Some chatbots have occasionally managed to fool users, but no machine has ever fully passed the test. While some experts argue that the test is outdated in today's world, others believe it remains a useful way to measure progress in artificial intelligence. Newer variations of the test, such as the reverse Turing test and the Marcus test, have been proposed, but none have replaced the original. Even though it is not perfect, the Turing test is still relevant. It helps us understand what it truly means to be intelligent and how close machines are to thinking like us.
Part of Alan Turing's legacy is a test he proposed to examine computer intelligence.
因为我们知道在 Day 1的时候，它的最后的这个结尾呢，就是讲到说它有一些这个留给后世的一些 legacy， 所以呢，我们就来看一下到底它的这些 legacy 有什么呢？他现在就提出了其中有一部分，他说呢，其中他的一个遗留下来的成果有一个部分呢，就是其实是一个测试，这个测试是 he proposed， 是由他所提出的。我们知道 propose 就是一个比较正式的一个提议啊，他提出这样的一个测试去做什么呢？去做目的就是要去 examine， 是要好好的去检验一下，检验什么呢？电脑的智慧。
In 1950, Turing published a paper exploring the question, "Can machines think?"
所以呢，就在1950年那个时候呢，其实图灵呢就 publish， 我们知道 publish 就是你发表了，你发布了一个 paper， 这个 paper 就是指论文。这个论文主要在 exploring， 一样，它是一个分词构句，本来是 which explored， 然后把那个 which 去掉 ，explore 加 ing。它的这一个论文呢，主要来探讨一个问题，这个问题就是说，到底机器能思考吗
So we have a colon there because after the complete sentence, in 1950, Turing published a paper exploring the question. Okay, so it's giving what is that question that was asked. So the actual question comes right after, can machines think? Okay, so it's just a way to use punctuation and a way to use the colon if you want to use that in your writing. To find answers, he introduced an experiment now known as the Turing test.
好啦，那为了要找到这些答案呢，所以 Turing 呢，他就怎么样呢 ？introduce 又用出了这个字，他就提出了、引荐出了一个所谓的 experiment。我们知道它就要做实验嘛，因为这个跟自然有关。那这个实验呢，它现在呢就 known as 就是以什么样的名称好，所以出名。它这个名称呢，这样的一个实验的名称就称之为图灵测试。
Right, and this doesn't have quotations around the name because it's the official name of the test. But then here we see the word now known as the Turing test. That kind of hints that it wasn't always known as the Turing test. Maybe it didn't have a name or maybe it had another name. But now, in our modern age, it is known as the Turing test.
Yes.
You could also say introduced an experiment that is now called the Turing test. That would be another way to write that as well. It is a way to check if a computer can respond like a human during a conversation.
好，那这个句子就在解释到底这个 The Turing Test 是一个什么样的测试呢？其实它是一种方式，这个方式就是要去 check， 去好好的检视一下，要好好的测试一下，到底一台电脑它可不可以呢 respond 就是做出一些反应。那可是你要怎么样做出反应？当然你打字到电脑里面，电脑当然是会反应出来，没有错。可是他希望他得到的这个反应呢，是像人类一样的反应，就是跟真正我好像这个电脑是一个人，然后我再跟他做这个测试的反应。然后呢，他希望是在什么样的状况底下，你可以跟我做这个反应呢？是 during a conversation。诶，这不就很像我们现在的 AI 了嘛，对不对哈？就是我在跟你讲话，这个电脑是不是可以像人类一样做出人类的反应？
Yeah. So here, I also want to bring attention to names because, like Alan Turing, this word, we probably have never seen it before, right?
Yeah.
But you know how in Chinese, a lot of last names, they have just a different root word, 部首, and then it has kind of like the same sound.
对对对
Like 伟大的伟 has 人字旁, and then another way is with 那个玉or 王字旁, right?
对
So then, you know, that's why we know it's probably pronounced like way or way or way, right? So the same thing in English too. Even if there are names that we're not familiar with, look at the last name Turing. It looks very similar to one of the words that we see in this last sentence, during. All right, you just take out the D and put a T instead, Turing. So even for us as native English speakers, we're not always going to pronounce people's last names right. Sometimes it looks like it's pronounced one way, but then like in Chinese, 我们有破音字, sometimes it just doesn't make sense. They pronounce it completely different. So if you're not sure how to pronounce a name, you can either A, look it up online, or B, you can ask the person, is this how I say your last name? Am I saying it right? And then they'll correct you if you're wrong, and it's not a big deal, right? But I just don't want people to be like, oh, I don't know how to read it, and then they don't read it because they're afraid to read it. Don't be afraid to read it. If you're incorrect, people will correct you.
我觉得这是一个礼貌。如果说你看到一个人的名字，你不太会念，其实你就大方的问对方，或者就像老师刚刚讲，我们现在可以查网络，可是不要那种要念又不要念，或者你皱眉头。如果我是那个被你念名字的人，我会觉得怎么了吗？我的名字发生什么事了吗？
Right.
对，所以你就是大方的问他怎么念就好了。
对，就重点就是先看你觉得应该是这样念，你就试图去念，不要就是担心。可是你要可以从英文的其他你认识的怎么去念英文字的逻辑，然后套在这个不认识的字上，说不定你念的就会是正确的。
是的，
所以对，不要害怕。All right, let's take a short break.
好的。
The test includes 3 participants: a human judge, another person, and a computer.
好啦，那这个测试到底是怎么样来进行呢？我们现在就来看一下了。他说，其实这个测试里面总共呢有3个 participant 就是指人啊，那个 ANT 的尾巴啊。他说呢，总共有3个要参加这个测试的人。这3个人呢，包含一个是 human judge， 他特别要强调的就是是人哦，好，是人的一个评判人员。然后还要再一个人，因为他刚刚就讲了嘛，他主要是要看这个机器可不可以跟人做出这个反应嘛，哈。然后接着下来呢，才是一台电脑。
So we see another use of the colon, right? So this colon is being used to introduce a list. So this can also be a way to use the colon, whereas the previous paragraph, we used the colon to introduce a question that was going to be asked. So yes, you do see colons a lot Okay, so a human judge. A judge, we also know it can be a judge of a court, which is the 法官, right? In this situation, a judge is someone who can decide the results of a test. All right, so in the previous paragraph, we talked about the Turing test. In this paragraph, we're talking about what this test entails or what it consists of. Okay, entail, E-N-T-A-I-L. Okay, what it has. The judge asks the other person and the computer questions and reads their answers without knowing who gave them.
好，那怎么样这一个测试的这一个评判人员要了解说他的结果到底对不对呢？好，首先呢，接下来我们就要看他怎么去进行了。首先呢，这个评判人员呢，他要跟另外一个人，好，问另外一个人，好，这个提出向另外一个人跟电脑两个彼此之间，他提出了一个问题，他就问他们问题了，然后并且他们就会回答了嘛，哈，那他这个评判人员呢就要开始去阅读他们的答案。而且这在阅读他们答案的时候呢，这一个评判人员其实并不知道这个回答我的到底是电脑还是人，所以他要在不知道到底是谁作答的情况底下来阅读他们的答案。
Okay, so here I want to introduce the difference between another person and other person. Okay, so when we say another person in the first sentence, we're saying another person that isn't the judge. Okay, so we're also introducing that someone else is involved in this test. Okay, so it's the introduction of someone, so we say another person, 另外一个人. But when we say other person, usually we already know the existence of this person. So we're saying 另外那一个人. Okay, so it's different, you know, like just I don't know if did I explain that correctly?
对，如果用中文来解释，其实很难解释的。
Right.
总之 ，another 就是这一个，然后这另外还有一个。就这不是一个人了嘛？就像刚刚老师讲，已经有一个人就是那个评判员，然后呢，另外还有一个人，可这个人并不是评判员，这样子。那如果你讲 other 的意思，就是说这边有一个评判员，其他还有其他的人。对，这是不一样的意思。
Yeah, so that's something to get used to because I have a lot of students that mix that up. Okay, so if you're not sure how to use it, it's always good to try to use it, and then you can always ask your teacher, does this make sense? I just want people to be comfortable in using it because I hear people use it incorrectly all the time.
对，所以还是要有一个上下文，其实会比较清楚的、明确的确定你这个 another 跟你这个 other 的用法。
Yeah, 但平常是 the other 就是已经知道有这个另外那个人的存在了。Okay? If the judge can't tell the computer's response from the other person's, the machine is considered intelligent.
好，那他怎么样判读？因为刚刚讲了嘛，这个评判人员他要去阅读这个人类或这个电脑所回答他的问题嘛。可是他并不知道说，我现在拿到的这个答案到底是电脑回答我的还是人类？那在这样的状况底下呢，如果当这个评判人员他没有办法区分电脑跟另外那一个人的回答，也就是说他也不知道这是电脑吗？这是电脑回答我的吗？还是这是人回答？到底哪一个是呢？如果他没有办法区分的时候呢，这个时候我们就会认为你这一台机器是相当聪明又智慧的机器。
Right, so tell A from B means that you can tell the difference between A and B.
Yeah.
Okay, tell A from B. So here it's can't tell the difference between the two, okay? So 无法去辩论这个两个的差别。
Yeah.
So you can also use the verb distinguish. D-I-S-T-I-N-G-U-I-S-H.
Yes.
So can't distinguish the difference between the computer's response and the other person's. Okay, so that could be another way to write that. So the machine is considered intelligent. That means thought to be intelligent. Over the years, several machines have taken the Turing test.
而且呢，这个试验呢，并不是说就这么一次。他说呢 ，over the years 就是多年来都有这样子不断的测试。其实呢，已经有好几台的机器，所以你看，因为是多年来，所以我们要用现在完成式，所以 several machines have taken， 所以一直以来都有参与这个图灵的测试。
Yes. Some chatbots have occasionally managed to fool users. But no machine has ever fully passed the test.
OK， 所以接着下来他就讲，其实里面有一些所谓的 chatbots， 我们知道这个 chat 就是聊天嘛，就是这些聊天的机器人。所以呢，有一些聊天的机器人呢 ，occasionally 就是偶尔 ，sometimes。它可能呢可以成功的 manage to， 我们知道 manage to 就是成功的做到一件或设法做到一件事。什么事情呢？就是你可以 fool， 就是你可以骗到这些使用的人。就假设今天是 Bernice 老师去试用，那有的时候这个聊天机器人真的有的时候会骗到我。可是呢，没有任何一台机器呢可以怎么样 ever fully。就是没有从未有机器可以完全的通过这个测试，所以这个句子呢，它是讲没有机器可以完全的 fully 完完全全的通过这个考试。
Yes, and let me just say that sentence one more time and put some new words in there just so you have a different option, okay?
Right.
First, talk about the word chatbots. It's kind of taking chat and robots and made that word into chatbots, okay? Some chatbots have sometimes been able to trick users, but no machine has ever completely passed the test. Okay, so I do love what the author has here already. I just want to call attention to the fact that there are a lot of different ways to write the same thing. So if you feel like there are too many words here that you've never seen before, you can always use words that you do know. But it's good to learn these new words as you go along. And if you can remember them, just try to use them.
Yeah.
Yeah? All right, let's take a short break.
好的。
While some experts argue that the test is outdated in today's world, others believe it remains a useful way to measure progress in artificial intelligence.
好，这边的 while， 我们知道这 while 有很多其他的意思，不过在这边的这个 while 就是 though 或者是 although 的意思，叫虽然啦。虽然呢，其实有一些 experts 就是专门的这些专家们，他们就做的 argue 的意思就是有一些争论啦，啊，他们就是有这样的一个争论的认为说呢，其实这个图灵测试啊，他觉得有点 outdated， 有点 old school， 有点就是旧了，过时了。他说，其实如果我们用当今世界上这样的一些方式来判断，他觉得图灵的这个测试其实已经有点过时了，但是还是有一些人，所以但是就不要再讲出来了哈，有虽然就不要有但是，然后前面用 some 配 others， 这个 others 就是指 other experts。还有一些其他的专家呢，则是这么认为，他觉得这个图灵测试的 remains 依然呢是一个非常有用的方法。尤其是在什么样的方法呢？就是你可以做 make progress， 就是你可以做一些进步啊、改善啊，好。然后尤其是在什么 artificial intelligence， 就是在 AI， 好，他觉得在这种人工智慧上，他觉得这还是一个很进步而且有效的一个方法。
Right. So when we say that people argue, if we don't have context, the first thing we think is they're really just 吵架, right? But when experts are arguing something, that usually means that they're just exchanging their ideas about something. It's not actual arguing. They could be, but it could just be exchanging of ideas that could be different from each other. So that's what this argue in this sentence means. Okay, and then saying that the test is outdated, another word you can use is obsolete. obsolete. It just means out of date. Okay, so you could say that the test is out of date, but putting it into one adjective is better. Outdated in today's world. And today in this sentence just means 如今, not 今天, okay? In the world today. Others believe it remains or it still is a useful way to measure progress. And when you measure progress, that means that you're tracking the amount of progress in AI. So artificial intelligence, now we just call it AI. And anything that's artificial is created by humans. It's not naturally created. Newer variations of the test, such as the reverse Turing test and the Marcus test, have been proposed, but none have replaced the original.
好，接着下来呢，就是刚才我们讲了嘛，还是有一些专家，他们觉得，这个图灵的这个测试呢，现在这个当今的世界，我觉得有点过时了，所以确实呢，就有比较再新一些的，好，这些所谓的 variations，就是 从图灵测试出现的一些新的变体啦，也出现了。那例如呢，他们就把它称之为第一个叫做 reverse 就是相反的倒转的意思，所以他们就称之为逆啊，相逆的意思，逆图灵的一个测试。然后另外还有一种叫做马库斯测试。好，反正就是他们又提出了2种变体的这个测试。但是呢，不管是哪一个，不管是他提出的这个逆图灵测试，还是马库斯测试，里面没有任何一个测试呢能够取代最初的一个测试。这边有一个 have been proposed， 就是被他们所提出的，并没有任何一个 none， 就是一个都没有能够 replace， 就是取代真正原版的图灵测试。
Yes, so variations in this sentence, you could also use words like versions or types. So newer types of the test. And then here, each of these tests are capitalized because they are the name of the test and they have been proposed or suggested, but they just can't replace the original. Even though it is not perfect, the Turing test is still relevant.
就是说呢，即使 even though 好，即使虽然呢，图灵测试呢，当然我们不能说它是完美的，但是呢，它的这个测试呢，依旧是 relevant。我们知道，当我们讲一个东西是 relevant 的时候，就是它相当的有关联性的，所以我们就说它呢意义是很重大的。
When we say that something is relevant, we mean that it is appropriate to our time or it is important to our nowadays. So it's still relevant. That just means that it's still important or still makes sense. It's not that outdated when it comes to how we think in today's standards. Okay, the Turing test is still relevant. It's still important. It helps us understand what it truly means to be intelligent and how close machines are to thinking like us.
他就接着下来最后这个句子结论句呢，就是告诉我们到底这个图灵测试有多么样的 relevant。对于现在的人来说呢，它其实帮助我们了解了到底这个东西 what is truly means truly 去形容这个 means 这个东西到底有什么样真正的意思，什么东西有没有真正的意思呢？就是刚刚讲的 intelligent， 就是智慧这件事情，要能够有智慧这件事情，其实呢图灵测试还是帮助我们去了解了，并且它也告诉我们有多么样的 close， 有多么样的相似呢？这些 machines are to， 所以本来是 be close to， 它把它这样拆开来了，把那个 how， 因为这个 how 出来的时候 close 形容词要往前放，所以 how close something be 动词，然后再加 to， 所以他就说了，这些机器呢跟人类的思维啊，像我们这样子的这个人类的思维能够有多么样的相似，其实呢图灵测试呢还是可以帮助我们，给我们这样的一些理解性，并且具有它的重大意义的。
Yeah, you just know that there is that grammar where we say help something do something or help and then just add the verb right after, which is what we saw in yesterday's lesson with the bomb helping shorten the war. Okay, so yeah, that's just something to know as well. 就帮助什么东西去做某一件事情. Okay, so that's a common thing that we see in English grammar. And if you feel like the story is something that you've heard before, there's actually a movie that was created about Alan Turing's story. It was called The Imitation Game, starring Benedict Cumberbatch, and it was made in 2014. So if you want to, watch a movie that's about his story and his legacy, that is a good option, is watching The Imitation Game.
Yeah.
All right, so hopefully in the past 2 days, you have learned a lot about Alan Turing and the Turing test. If you want to know more, it's always good to look it up online, right?
没错。
Just make sure when you're talking to somebody online, it's not a chatbot.
Oh, no.
Yeah, okay. We'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.